Water rushes down by the Wakefield Mill. Oh, can you hear the rumble and the roar? Soon the mill will be working again. Rolling mills will turn once more. Rolling mills will turn once more, turn again.
The traces left by a century and a half of industrial evolution. Frail memories harboring the story of the small town of Wakefield.
And time passes by the Wakefield Mill. These walls will have their stories then. A boom and bust, a fire and change. And yet these walls have weathered them. Rolling mills will turn again, turn, turn again.
The soft beauty of the site today belies its raw beginnings. When the Gatineau was a grudging terrain, demanding the price of back-breaking toil before yielding the first small crop of potatoes and grain. When the hard kernels of wheat and oats had to be hauled or carried to the distant mills at Wrightstown on the Ottawa River. For it was the rivers that supplied the power to drive the mills. Axles twirled, shafts turned, the wooden teeth of the gears engaged. Slowly the massive millstones revolved, turning the grist into a rough flour, a flour that remained speckled with the coarse bits of bran, just fine enough to bake a dark, heavy bread. But the migrant settlers had an appetite for more than bread. It was the hunger for land that attracted them to the rugged Gatineau Valley, until by the 1830s, the first homesteads dotted the district. The need for a local grist mill became obvious, and in 1838 one of these pioneers, William Fairbairn, began the building of the mill on the banks of LaPeche River. Built on a base of granite boulders, it was perhaps a statement of the Scotsman's faith in the future of the new land, a humble monument to last beyond his time.
They build it better than they knew. Thick stone walls reflect the past. When settlers came to build this land, to build, to stand, to grow, to last, of water and time still flowing past.
Among the settlers were the young and ambitious McLaren brothers, James and John. By 1844 they owned the mill, adding their own aspirations to the power of LaPeche. The McLarens built on Fairbairn's endeavor, expanding the grist mill and adding a sawmill. By the 1860s, a woolen mill was also in operation. From the handsome brick house, the McLarens could oversee their thriving complex and marvel at the feisty little LaPeche that powered every belt, wheel, spindle, and shaft. And down the road, where LaPeche empties into the Gatineau, was the community's social center, the McLaren General Store. For the settlers and tradesmen, it was the source of all manner of goods, including the tweedy cloth woven in the McLaren's mill. They could do their banking, barter their eggs, or post letters to family and friends a lifetime away from Wakefield. And to the north went loads of supplies, to the upper Gatineau to feed the rough and hardy lumberjacks. The McLaren's enterprises prospered, and, in one way or another, They touched the lives of nearly everyone in the region and beyond. James McLaren rode the crest of the Industrial Revolution, building a business empire on lumber and steam, hydroelectric power and banking. By 1919, his Bank of Ottawa would be worth $300 million. And all the while, the wheels of the modest Wakefield mill kept turning in the tireless Little River, grinding the grain from the valley farms.
Past the time when Wakefield grew, past the time when the timber stands boomed, past the time when the Gatineau days return